Hello and welcome back to SketchUp Assist. In this video, we show you how to quickly make these raised panel cabinet doors, so stick around. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at a raised panel. And again, I'm going to come in with a 24 by 24, kind of position things. I'm going to, once again, make this a group. I'm going to rotate just a little so push-pull cooperates with me. Go in to modify my group. Pull out 0.75. I'm going to come in 3 inches. And then for the raised panel, I'm going to come in another 3 inches. We want to create that inner panel. So there are a couple of ways you can make these. I'm going to start off with what's probably the more complicated way, but also the way that gives you the most freedom to create detail, and that is using a follow me approach. Okay. So what I want to do is come in and create a profile. So I'm going to zoom in here. And I'm going to add this little detail. Typically on a raised panel, the sort of core, the central part of the panel sits just a little proud of where the router cuts the bevel around the outer edge of the panel, where that panel goes into the rails and the stiles. And so what I want to do is create a profile here. I've put that 1/16 inch mark in as a guide. I'm going to pull straight across here and make sure that I'm lined up with my axis, which in this case is red. And I'm going to pull back. Let me zoom in here. I'm going to pull back to this line. Okay. So now I've created a profile. I'll rotate a little bit here so hopefully you can see. I think you can kind of see what's happening here. So I'm going to zoom out so we can get the full view. What I want to do is double click into the panel. But I only want the outline, so I'm going to hold my shift key and deselect the face of the panel and just keep the outer edge of the panel. I'm going to come into follow me. I'm just going to zoom in here so you can see what I do. After selecting follow me, I don't click anything else until I come down here on my profile and simply click on my profile. And there you go. You've created a just wedge style. So this is just a straight angle back style raised panel door. Okay, and you can, if we zoom in here, you can kind of see how we left that little edge proud. Now, one of the things, if you're rendering, you can come in and round off these corners and clean them up. I'll do a video on this a little bit later. These details make a real big difference when you're rendering to make it look more realistic. Right now, we're just talking about the sort of rough mechanics to get these doors put together for the different cabinet styles. Okay, so that's the raised panel using follow me. Now we're going to try it with the move tool. Okay, so I'm going to come in once again, 24 by 24. Make this a group. I know this is a bit redundant, but practice makes perfect, and I don't care that that does something crazy because I'm going to key in my numbers here. 3/4 of an inch. There we go. So now we're back to the sort of blank slate here, cabinet door, and I'm going to leave this rotate a little bit because it just helps to kind of see what's happening. We're trying to do 3D work in a 2D world here. Likewise, I'm going to come in and I'm going to start off with 3-inch offset, but this time I'm going to push this panel back first, a 1/2 inch. Remember, before we created the panel offset as well. We're going to hold off on that until we create the recess. Now we can come in and add that panel offset. We're simply going to select the whole panel. In this case, we want the surface and the outer edge. We're going to go into move mode, and I'm going to temporarily come up here and show my axis. I'm hiding the axis just because it kind of creates a little bit of clutter, in my opinion. But what I want to show you is that my axis, my green axis, is normal to the face of my cabinet door here. And why I'm showing you that is because I want to make sure I pull only in that direction. And so I'm going to turn that axis back off. I'm going to go into move mode, and I'm going to click in my case, I'm going to click my left arrow key, and you'll see I'm locked on green. And I'm going to pull out that entire face 1/2 inch. And there you go. We've created that raised panel using an alternative method to follow me. So simply using the move. Now, this is probably a bit faster. This won't work in cases where when you have more complex geometries, but if you have these sort of square geometries here, very frankly, this is probably the best way to to handle creating these raised panels. Okay, what if we want something a little more sophisticated than a wedge style panel cutout? And by wedge style, let me just draw this really quick and show you what I'm talking about. So whenever these raised panel doors are created, you basically have this piece of wood that makes up the entire panel. So it makes up this section that's selected as well as this section. So a router bit cuts out this profile and it cuts it down to a thickness that can fit inside the stiles and rails. Very often this is just a angle cut, sort of a linear angle cut back, much like we did before, but there are router bits that cut different designs. So you can have OGs, you can have sort of curved surfaces. If you do want something a little more detail or something different, what you can do is come in, go ahead, push this back. We're going to use follow me again in this case. So very similar method. Once again, we're going to come in. I'm not going to do the offset this time. I'm going to show you an alternative way. You can actually come in and just reduce this by 1/16th, and we'll pull it back up later. Oops, 1/16th. Okay, there we go. And the bottom is just straight, so that one's no problem. We'll go ahead and create that line across there. So the bottom line of our profile. And now you could do a number of things, but we'll do a 2-point arc. And this is just going to create a sort of scallop cutout on that panel. And I'm going to have to reorient here. Okay, there we go. So lock in on that. And then the main thing you want to do is make sure, now, again, it's probably not cooperating with me very well, but you can see how my arc now is below the surface of my panel. So what you want to do is make sure that at all points, this line that you're drawing now stays above the bottom line. And so not that it matters hugely, but I'm going to do a 1/8 here. It looks like it's pretty good. It looks like I'm not cutting below my panel. And that now is a profile that's different than just this linear profile that we created earlier. And so I'll put this in temporarily so you can see it. So you can see the difference here. Again, you could create, OGs or kind of whatever design you want in here. And we're going to follow the same recipes. I'm just going to zoom out here so you can get the full picture. Once again, I'm going to select the panel. I'm going to hold shift to deselect the face, keep the outer edge. I'm going to go to follow me and I'm going to select that. And there is this little artifact in here that you can get rid of. So there you go. We've now, and I'll spin around here so you can kind of see now this has got a bit of like a scallop cut around the outer edge of the panel. So in closing, we can also come in and add a little color. I'll just do a wood veneer standard here to these to kind of bring a little more life to them. But that's it. Hopefully you found this useful, and thanks for watching. Hey, if you're finding the channel useful or interesting, please consider subscribing. And if you have any feedback for any of our content, please consider leaving comments. Thank you.